for all the developing details.
Find out how Clarion District judges are handling new responsibilities.
And Monica Williams will be in with your weather forecast.
All this and more coming up right after this on Clarion's very own TV5 News Live.
Was made possible through a grant by Fox's Pizza Den. Fox's Pizza Den is located on Old Route 66 in Clarion and offers all-day delivery. Phone 226-5555. That's 226-5555. Fox's Pizza Den is open 7 days a week. Phone 6555.
I'll take Simmons.
Yeah. Give me Jones.
Anderson.
Smith.
Lightfoot.
Bishop.
Hernandez.
Swifka.
Harris.
Lavender.
Peavy.
Yes.
In the game of life, you've got a much better chance at getting picked for a cool job with Gray if you take algebra, geometry, and calculus. You need to know how math can improve your future. Demand it. Call Acme. We'll tell you.
Feedback starts now. And I said, you know, it wouldn't a better name for a movie to come out now, and I think I'm going to make the movie or write the book. It would be a great book to have, and you can call to get her book. You can also find it online. Well, I have a feeling I'm going to be rather opinionated. People I know, so let's ask them about scheduling. Why is it that students have such a problem here with?
Tune into Feedback with Mark Despotakis every Tuesday and Wednesday night beginning at 7:30 p.m.
We're totally out of time. No time to talk to you. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is TV5 News Live.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, February 21st, 2001. I'm Carrie LaPoo.
And I'm Kelly Esno.
The Clarion bank robber has been caught. Find out the latest information.
Also, find out about yesterday's fire in Oil City.
And as always, Monica Williams will be joining us with the weather. Police have Clarion's bank robbery suspect in custody. Mark Despotakis has all the developing details. Live in the newsroom. Mark?
Thanks, Carrie. That's right. It's a story that first started developing over a week ago, and here we are a week and a day after the robbery, and there is an end in sight. Police have informed me that today they found the suspect, Paul Schooneman, in a Kentucky airport around 1 o'clock this afternoon. And we're going to, here is a look, there we go. The FBI in New York City, he also saw him in New York City. Here is a look at kind of how today's events played out. Clarion Borough Police, along with FBI agents, have been on the lookout for this man, Paul Charles Schooneman. He is the main suspect in last week's Clarion National City bank robbery. Police say the man was caught earlier today in Kentucky, but was in the New York City area before he went to Kentucky. TV5 has obtained this video that possibly shows Schooneman appearing on MTV's Direct Effect television show last night. He is the one wearing the blue hat on the left side of your screen. People who knew Schooneman came forward to Clarion University Public Safety this morning with the tape. And there you go, that video exclusive to us here at TV5. This is what we know. He left campus last Friday, has not returned since. The FBI does have him in physical custody, but they have no idea where, what happens next. I'm sorry, I don't have any idea what happens next. We tried to speak with police. They don't know where he's going from here. What we do know is that he was heading for spring break in Florida, so that's why they found him in Kentucky on the way to spring break from New York City and from Clarion prior to that. So live in the newsroom, I'm Mark Despotakis. Back to you, Carrie.
Me? Yeah. Thanks, Mark. Yesterday evening, a fire sent Webco Industry employees home early. Oil City Fire Chief says the 9 p.m. flames were contained to the roof of the plant. Oil City firefighters gained control of the fire shortly before 10 o'clock. Webco officials are still trying to determine the cause of the fire. No injuries were reported.
Clarion County's district judges are prepared to pick up more than their fair share of work. District judges Daniel George, Anthony Lapinto, and Norman Heasley are willing to take over the responsibilities of deceased District Justice Gregory Long, who died February 11th after a battle with cancer. The 3 judges will be relieved from these responsibilities next year when a new district judge will be appointed.
Clarion University honored 106 student athletes at this year's Scholar Athlete Luncheon. This year, the students honored Dr. Doug Smith as a faculty member of the year. Smith is an associate professor of biology and makes every effort to reach every student. Although Smith was not an athlete, he respects the efforts of student athletes and applauds them.
A very controversial play comes to Clarion this week. TV5's Valerie Hill has the report.
Woohoo for hoo-hoo. Last night, I had the chance to witness the vagina monologues on stage. The performance was full of humor, talent, and truth. The monologues were developed by Eve Ensler after interviewing over 200 women about their sexual experiences. One may think these interviews to be silly and intrusive, but in all reality, they were an eye-opening experience for both Ensler and the interviewees. They realized their womanhood was something to be proud of. This ideology is the essence of the vagina monologues. Andrea, how did you become involved with the vagina monologues?
I saw posters around campus for the auditions, and I decided to try out because it was well known on Broadway. Other people have done it, and I just thought it'd be different, so I decided to take the opportunity and try to audition for it.
And as a woman, what do the vagina monologues mean to you?
I feel that it means to me that I have a chance to express how I feel about my body and how people should look at a woman's body not as something that should be used, but something that should be looked at and respected as. And I feel like this has really given me the opportunity to be able to do that and to express it.
All proceeds earned by the play were donated to Passages, an organization dedicated to protecting women against domestic violence. Other organizations involved that share the same mission include SAFE, an off-campus organization, and STAR, an on-campus organization. The Vagina Monologues is an excellent play with an excellent cause. You too can get involved by participating in events against domestic violence. Help stop the violence. This is Valerie Hill, Hart Chapel, for TV5.
Stay with us, there's much more to come.
Find out about the talks concerning Central Dauphin teachers.
Plus, an increase in patrols for interstates in Pennsylvania. We'll give you all the details next.
And as always, we will look at your TV weather forecast. Stay with us.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by the Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant. The Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant is located at 540 Main Street in Clarion and offers dining as well as a nightclub. The restaurant and nightclub are open 7 days a week for your convenience. Call the Captain Loomis Hotel and Restaurant, 226-8400.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brandy. How would you like to give hope to millions of the world's children? UNICEF, the United Nations Children's Fund, is saving lives in over 140 countries by providing kids with medicine, clean water, nutrition, and education. With your help, UNICEF can make a huge difference in our world. For more information, call 1-800-FOR-KIDS. Thank you.
Standing out from the crowd is easy when you stop in at Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all with many different styles. With our newly expanded shoe and accessory department, you're surely to find that special touch to enhance that new outfit. And if you have a fashion question, our experts are here to help. That's Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall, just off Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. Sunday from noon till 5.
On the big highway of life, there's only one safe place for kids. The front seat's not the place to drop out. Don't want that big old bag to pop out. Put that booties in the back seat. Have that kiss you never meet. I'm here to remind you to put them behind you. Wow! Look at here. To stay alive even when I drive.
From Clarion's very own, Carrie LaPue, Kelly Esno, Monica Williams, Jarrah Heater, From Studio A, this is TV5 News Live.
Welcome back to TV5 News. The lawsuit filed by Central Dauphin Teachers Union continues today as arguments focus on the school board's illegal imposition of new labor rules. These new rules will be implemented tomorrow when teachers return to class. The school board contends that it can improve an interim agreement in light of the deadlock between striking teachers and the board in contract talks.
The state's case is full of holes, according to the attorney representing William Blick, a suburban Pittsburgh firefighter trainee charged with homicide and arson. Blick is accused of setting the fire at a West Mifflin duplex last July. Located near a volunteer fire hall, the blaze claimed the lives of a husband, wife, and their 10-month-old infant.
He claimed God to be his lawyer, and Robert Jones's public defender was sent at the wings at an arson hearing today. Jones was charged with setting a fire to a suburban Johnstown movie theater on February 1st, while a dozen mentally challenged adults from a state hospital were inside watching a movie.
Rebecca Jane Rembold of Venango County was in court today for a preliminary hearing related to the shooting death of 35-year-old Richard Eugene Sager. According to state police, the fatality stemmed from a domestic dispute between Sager and the 30-year-old woman earlier this month. With the number of citations down and the number of collisions up, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Curry is urging state troopers to step up patrols on Pennsylvania's interstates. The top state police official says current enforcement activities are unacceptable.
Coming up next, a look ahead at your weekend weather forecast, but first, here's a look at tonight's lottery numbers.
This portion of the programming was made possible through a grant by the Carpet Barn. The Carpet Barn is located at 470 South 5th Avenue in Clarion. The Carpet Barn is open Monday through Saturday for all your carpet needs. So call the Carpet Barn, 226-7332.
This portion of the program was made possible through a grant from Clarion Hospital. Clarion Hospital is located off of Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Clarion Hospital offers outpatient services, transitional care, as well as an emergency room open around the clock every day of the year. More than 400 employees and 80 physicians work to serve the community. Call the Clarion Hospital at 226-9500. Clarion Hospital, providing health care to Clarion County and surrounding communities since 1954.
U.S. authorities are trying to calculate the national security damage caused by an FBI agent accused of spying for Moscow for the past 15 years. Robert Hansen was charged with espionage in federal court Tuesday and is being held without bond. Federal agents have been searching his home in Virginia for more evidence of his alleged contacts with Russian officials. The FBI says Hansen passed on 6,000 pages of top-secret documents. Intelligence loss is described as exceptionally grave. But as Jill Doherty reports, for many old spy hands in Russia, the revelations are nothing more than business as usual.
Inside an old Moscow mansion, a book signing. A new addition to the series Secret Service, Nikolai Dolgopolov's They Stole the Bomb for the Soviets. It's filled with interviews with what he calls heroes, men who spied for Russia. Men like Yuri Sergeyevich Sokolov, a career KGB colonel, the go-between for legendary Soviet spy Rudolf Abel. Now retired, he continues to train new agents. Spies, he says, are not that different from other people, but successful ones have special traits.
Courage, ability to analyze events and make correct deductions and not get confused by complex conditions.
What does he think of the arrest of an FBI agent on charges of spying for Russia? No comment. None of these intelligence officers are very surprised by reports of alleged spying. For them, spying is business as usual.
As long as governments and their interests exist and have to be protected, there were intelligence agents, there are intelligence agents, and there will be intelligence agents.
During the Cold War, some spies helped Russia for ideological reasons. They were never paid for their information. Nikolai Dolgopolov says times and the business of spying have changed.
Some are doing it because they're angry with his boss. Some are doing it just to make sure that they're worth something in this dull and, well, useless life of theirs. And some are doing it for money, maybe.
For these intelligence agents of the old school, fame or infamy was not their goal, content to live out their lives in the shadowy world of spying. Jill Doherty, CNN, Moscow.
President Bush visited an elementary school today in Townsend, Tennessee, just outside Smoky National Park. The president talked about his administration's aggressive program for public education and how his 2002 budget will include an additional $1.6 billion in federal support for elementary and secondary education programs. The money will be part of an 11% increase in overall federal education spending, the largest proposed increase for any cabinet agency. Bush said the funding will allow districts to access money for K-12 diagnostic testing, for curriculum development, and for teacher training.
The sonar aboard the USS Greenville detected the Japanese fishing boat before colliding with it. However, Pentagon sources say it is unclear if the crew recognized the sonar reading as a boat. The National Transportation Safety Board is now looking at data from an electronic logging device. 9 people are still missing following the accident. Crew members are scheduled to appear before a Navy court of inquiry as soon as Thursday. Also on Tuesday, the Pacific Fleet Command announced it was beginning the move of the Greenville to dry docks to inspect its damage and decide what repair work needs to be done. Before moved to dry docks, the sub will be taken to West Loch to offload its munitions, a statement said. Those munitions include torpedoes and Tomahawk cruise missiles. Security forces in Lebanon clashed with hundreds of demonstrators Wednesday who were marching outside the United States Embassy near Beirut. As Brent Sadler reports, there is widespread anger in Lebanon over the attacks on Iraq and U.S. support for Israel.
The anti-American protest on an approach road to the U.S. Embassy compound 6 miles north of Beirut turned violent when demonstrators tried to break through a security cordon. The protest was led by Beirut University students denouncing U.S. and British airstrikes on Iraq last week. Lebanese security forces, including the army and riot police, forced back the crowd, several hundred strong, as they surged towards the embassy. Condemning both President George W. Bush and Israeli Prime Minister-elect Ariel Sharon, though no mention of the British, students hurled stones and abuse. Police responded with a water cannon. In addition to demonstrating the latest airstrikes on Iraq, the protesters singled out U.S. criticism of the Lebanese-based guerrilla group Hezbollah for recently killing an Israeli soldier in a disputed border area known as the Sheba Farms. The Hezbollah attack came on the same day as the U.S.-led air raid on Iraq. Several protesters were injured during what was the largest and most violent anti-American protest in Lebanon since this time last year, when United States policy in the region was also under fire. Brent Sadler, CNN, Beirut.
We've had quite a bit of a surprise with the weather this past week. We had some rain this past weekend, a beautiful day yesterday, and then it was really cold today. Are we in for more surprises, or what's the scoop with the weather?
Hopefully when we take a look at the 5-day later on in the broadcast, we can see some more steady temperatures.
Okay, great.
Taking a look at the satellite map, as you can see, moving out from the west, California was experiencing some heavy cloud coverage, and in the Midwest, you can see there's lots of cloud coverage, and then moving into our area, we are also experiencing lots of cloud coverage, and this can bring good or bad weather, but I think pretty much we're going to stay clear of rain. And here we have the high pressure fronts. They're moving in from the west, traveling through the Midwest and into our region, but first we have to get rid of this strip of the low pressure front and try to get rid of that nasty weather we were experiencing last week. As you can see here, in our temperatures, in Philadelphia, they were experiencing 10 degrees warmer weather than we were. And here in our area, we got up just about below, a little below 30 degrees. Wish we were down here in southern Georgia or Florida. Taking a look at our precip map in Pennsylvania, we're staying clear of precipitation, which is good. We had enough of it last week, all in this area. Now looking at our 5 days. Today, high of 28 and low of 19 degrees. With the high tomorrow at 28 with a low of 7. Friday, we're looking at partly cloudy, a high of 32 with a low of 25. And Saturday, a high of 37 with a low of 25. And Sunday, we're going to experience some showers there with a high of 45 degrees and a low at 34. So it looks to see like we're going to warm up there, which will be nice.
Yeah, so keep our umbrellas for Sunday there, but steadier temperatures. That's great. Thanks,
Yeah.
Monica.
Thank you.
Now for a look at tonight's financial news, here's Sean Calebs from the New York Stock Exchange.
Good day from the New York Stock Exchange. A late afternoon sell-off sent the Dow tumbling in dramatic fashion, and the NASDAQ, losing 2% of its value, is now at its lowest level in 2 years. For the day, there was a 1-2 punch, disappointing corporate earnings, as well as a spike in the consumer price index that raised the specter of inflation, and that sent investors running. There was simply no good news for them to latch onto. Let's go to the big board. There you see the numbers. Down 204 points, the level 10,526. Declining issues outpacing the advancing issues by almost a 3-to-1 margin. And on the NASDAQ, the level now 2268, losing 49 points. We're going to get to the CPI in just a minute. First, the tech stocks. Sun Microsystems became the latest major tech company to get downgraded. It lost more than $2 on the day. Intel, Cisco, also at levels not seen since 1999. They were among the most active stocks traded. Also, Motorola announcing another wave of layoffs, this time about 300 employees in the cell phone division, mostly in and around the Chicago area. Also, Coca-Cola downgraded by Goldman Sachs, indicating that they will lower the earnings per estimate for the rest of the year. It finished down more than $3.50. Coke also announcing a deal with Procter & Gamble to begin selling fruit drinks and snacks together. It's going to be a $4 billion venture, combining such powerhouse names as Minute Maid, Sunny Delight, and Pringles. Procter & Gamble up $1 on the day. Now the real wild card in all of this, blame for spooking the financial stocks, the latest number from the Consumer Price Index. Government figures show the CPI rose by the fastest level in 10 months. The reason this is important, it could be an indicator inflation is on the rise and could make the Federal Reserve not lower interest rates when they meet next. That's the very latest from the stock exchange. I'm Sean Calebs. Now back to you.
Sports follows the break, and this look at tonight's stock report.
Believe in heroes.
Open the mouth really big.
But he donates care to disadvantaged children.
Say,
You don't have to believe in heroes to be one. Be a hero to a child in your community. call 1-800-6-CHILDREN.
It takes so little to save our waters for future generations. Using less toxic household cleaners and fewer lawn care chemicals protects so much. Help stop water pollution forever. Clean water. If we all do a little, we can do a lot.
Feedback starts now. And I said, you know, wouldn't a better name for a movie to come out now? And I think I'm going to make the movie or write the book. It would be a great book to have. And you can call to get her book. You can also find it online. And I have a feeling I'm going to be rather opinionated. People I know. So let's ask them about scheduling. Why is it that students have such a problem here with?
Tune into Feedback with Mark Despotakis every Tuesday and Wednesday night beginning at 7:30 p.m.
We're totally out of time. No time to talk to you. We'll see you tomorrow.
It may not look like it, but you're watching the future of the Earth pass by. Because many of these products are made from materials you've been recycling. But to keep recycling working, you need to buy products that say, made from recycled materials. For all those next in line, it would mean the world to them.
Take Simmons.
Yeah. Give me Jones.
Anderson.
Smith.
Lightfoot.
Bishop.
Hernandez.
Swifka.
Harris.
Lavender.
Peavy.
Yes.
In the game of life, you've got a much better chance at getting picked for a cool job with great pay if you take algebra, geometry, and calculus. You need to know how math can improve your future. Demanded. Call NACME. We'll tell you.
Up with the sports. So, Jared, is there anything interesting going on in sports?
Well, Clarion's wrestling team finished their season, so let's take a look. In collegiate wrestling news, the Golden Eagles defeated Virginia Tech 23-21 last Friday. Eric Mauser scored a major decision over Tech's Wes Cummings 15-2. After the first match, John Testa scored a 13-2 major decision, giving the Eagles an 8-0 lead. Peter Durstein won the third straight major decision for Clarion when he defeated Tech's David Thurston 18-5. Tech's Brent Ryder fell to Dominic Sura 12-4, and Hokie Brian Wilson was defeated by Clarion's Shane McChesney 11-3. With only 3 matches left, the Hokies trailed 23-6. Things would change in the next 2 matches. Tech scored 2 straight falls to pull them back into the contention for the win. Tech almost pulled off the comeback, but Clarion's Bob Topper foiled Scott Justice's attempt at a pin. Justice defeated Topper 6-3, but the Golden Eagles held on for the victory. Golden Eagles 174-pound senior Aaron Mitchell won a critical 3-1 overtime decision over Virginia's Brian Muir, and Clarion edged its EWL opponent 19-18. In its final dual meet of the season last Saturday afternoon at Memorial Gym, Clarion began the match by rolling to a 16-0 lead. Eric Mauser led off with a pin over Zach Brady. Then heavyweight John Testa posted an 11-2 major decision over Josh Etu. Peter Durstein and Rad Martinez posted decisions, and before Virginia mounted a furious comeback. The Cavaliers won successive 1-point decisions at 141, with Bob Seidel decisioning Frank Edgar 7-6. Then P.J. Borey edged Dom Sura 8-7. After Shane McChesney also lost a close decision at 157, the Eagles forfeited 165 pounds when Pete Kroshevsky was unable to take the mat after suffering a shoulder injury at Virginia Tech on Friday night. Clarion held a slim 16-15 lead, but that set the stage for Mitchell's heroics. Tied 1-1 in overtime, Mitchell scored a counter takedown about 45 seconds into overtime to push the Eagle lead up to 19-15. Although Bob Topper lost a 3-2 decision to Jimmy Massey at 184, the Eagles held on for the victory. Finally, Clarion heavyweight wrestler John Testa was named Eastern Wrestling Player of the Week for the week of February 18th. Testa majored his Virginia Tech opponent 13-2, and he majored Virginia's Ryan Painter on his way to earning the award. TV5 Sports caught up with Testa and asked him how it felt.
Actually, I didn't even know I was named WL Wrestler of the Week, but I guess it feels pretty good now.
Testa has had a solid season thus far, and he commented on his performance.
Felt pretty good until in the beginning of the season I didn't feel like I wrestled pretty well, but I usually peak towards PSACs and then EWLs. So hopefully nationals this year So
Going into the EWL tournament, Testa should be set for a performance that could spark him for a run at All-American status and possibly a national championship.
well, I'll probably be seated, hopefully #1 in EWLs, beating maybe a guy from Edinburgh or West Virginia, getting like a maybe top 10 seed at nationals. So better chance to become an All-American national champ.
The EWL tournament will be held at Virginia Tech over the weekend of March 3rd to 4th. That's all in sports. Now back over to Carrie and Kelly.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll be off next week, but tune in on March 6th with live Borough Coverage Council with Pat Grace.
Have a good evening.
Copyright 2001, Clarion University Broadcasting.